Hey, what's up everybody? Doing this vid for Star Blazers 1969. He's got an Intellivision II where the RF, as in the little jack sticking out the back of it where you plug that cable into, it's loose, so wanted to know if it was possible to fix, and hopefully it's just a simple repair, which is as simple as it gets on one of these things. This system's really easy to open up. And on worse things, there is a resistor that is soldered to the end of that thing inside the RF box. If that has come loose, as in detached from the little stem on the RF, that could be a problem. And that's only if it really twisted up bad to where it shattered the resistor. If it's just the lead that came loose, you can just resolder the lead and you're good to go. So anyways, naturally, take out your controllers, take out these two screws, and then, as you can see here, right there, there, and there, it's hinged. So the way you want to open this, have it on a table or your hand like this, and just separate the front just enough there to get it loose, and then lift straight up and back like you're opening up a lid. As in, there's the little prongs for the hinges, and if it's got any give whatsoever, check and see what you're doing and eyeball it, and then just go really slow with it so you don't snap those off. As in, that's the only thing holding the back half of it together. Now on taking out the circuit board, real easy too. Got a screw here and a screw there on each side of your cartridge slot, so take those out. Another screw behind controller port 1, take that out, and then to the front, straight across from that screw, there's another one here, take that out. And then, this is a little tricky here. I found the best way is lift up just a little bit on the RF, give it a bit of a wiggle here, and will gradually come free. It fits in fairly tight, but once you get it somewhat loose, as in the two screw holes here, the posts kind of go up into the circuit board, so you want to get those loose, but once you do, man, it lifts out pretty easy. Just don't force anything. To get it out, here is the motherboard, and I'm going to do this, put my camera on hold here, and right off the bat, man, it's going to show kind of blurry, but easy enough to point out where to solder. As in, the way they do these jacks, it's just a hole in the side of that thing naturally, and they push it through from the inside through just a round hole, and it's kind of like got a washer to the outside of that jack, and that's what solders to the inside of it, and they just sometimes don't use enough. So just from twisting off the cable or just outright pulling off the cable through time, as in old system, that solder breaks free, and then that's why you get the twistiness. As in, this seems to be a common problem. I've had this happen on a couple of my regular Intellivision systems, as in, thanks for not sending me a comment on a regular Intellivision system, or I wouldn't be doing this. Those are a bit of a bitch to take apart. This thing's way easy compared to them. Anyways, there's the jack there, and all that shiny area on the inside is the solder. Like I said, just resolder that ring area. That's the outside of this, as in, if it's a nice little blob in there, just reheat it and add a little bit more to it. Don't overdo it, just enough to thicken it up to where it won't break on you again. And on that resistor, point here with a screwdriver, the center post on this, which is that hole in it, that sticks out the back here on kind of a lead, and then right there is a resistor. I have no idea what type of resistor, as in it's just color coded. But don't know on yours, as in I've had 3 Intellivisions with this problem that I had to repair, and a couple of them were different. As in, one of them didn't have that apparent resistor there, and that lead coming off the jack just went straight down into the board, which thick enough to where it didn't break. But anyways, on this one, the lead's coming straight up, and then they bent it down and soldered it, so it's got a little bit of slack. So hopefully yours is like that, to where if it did break off, you can just resolder that lead, and then you're good to go. And if you have a magnifying glass, look over that resistor really good if it did break loose, and make sure there's no cracks in it, as once those suckers gets cracks in them, they're dead. And on that, man, you'd have to find somebody else that's done major repairs on these or modded on them that knows what type to put in there, and probably have somebody else take it apart for you, as in that damn thing is really soldered good to the main board here via little posts coming off of this, and then all this crap coming off the sides and everything you'd have to desolder. Just a lot of work. But if it's just loose in there, man, and not totally twisting and nothing's disconnected here, easy enough. And on getting the cover off of this, I just used a little precision flathead screwdriver. I'll show you here. It's just typical of any other game system. Got this kind of a metal cover, and you've got little spaces in between each one of these fins. Recommend a little bit smaller screwdriver, like I really need one smaller than this, but I could get in just enough in the corners there to where I could twist the flathead screwdriver and gradually wedge this off. I don't recommend trying to do it with a knife or anything, because you got that there that could get sliced and other stuff around to where you can just mess it up. So try and find a little screwdriver or something like this, maybe like an ice pick, that would probably work, and just wedge that off of there. And then put it back on, actually just line all that up with the edges, press it on really tight with your thumb, and it shouldn't come off again. It's a real tight fitting sucker. So hopefully this will help you out and anybody else that's watching. There's really not much more I can show. And on putting the system back together, man, same way you took it apart. Just line up them hinges after you put the circuit board back in, which pretty much just drop it in there, and work on the posts that go into these holes here. Get them lined up, and then you'll know that it's in there level. Then put your screws back in and put the lid on. So hopefully the system works once you do this, dude. Cool little system, and hopefully you got the original power supply with it. As in, I still haven't found one for this puppy. They're a real bitch to locate, them suckers, other than eBay, and I ain't paying freaking $20-30 for a power supply when this cost me $10 with a pile of games. So you can use a 12 volt, but I've heard that it's not good for this thing. It's just more for testing it out to make sure it works. So have a good one, everybody. Feel free to comment.